Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. We'll be right back to the show. But before we do, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, factormeals.com, where if you go to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50, you can get 50% off your first order. That's factormeals.com/unbroken50. If you're like me and you are a person who is busy trying to create a life, heal, work on their health, wealth, and relationships, and not to mention deal with the day-to-days of normal life, you do not have time to be going to the grocery store and trying to figure out what you're going to cook every single day of the week. In fact, one time I did the math and I realized I was spending over 15 hours a week at the grocery store and cooking. When I added Factor, I got to use that time for myself, for my family, for my friends, for my community, and for my business. And so if you're in the place where you need some more support in the kitchen, head to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50 to get 50% off.
Do you ever feel like life is a never-ending series of lessons while you try to find purpose, meaning, and answers? I am Vanessa Fontana, the host of Figuring Shit Out, a podcast where we undertake self-help, coming of age, and healing. As I live my 20s in New York City figuring shit out myself, I've realized that if you spend your whole life trying to get your act together, you don't have a life. You have an act. On Figuring Shit Out, every Sunday, you get to normalize the journey of not knowing and be guided into living your life with more intention and ease.
Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. Hey, what's up, Unbroken Nation? Hope that you're doing well wherever you are in the world today. I'm very excited to be back with you with another episode with my guest, Julie Bruns, who is the author of Peace, Possibilities, and Perspective. Joy, my friend, how are you today?
Good, Michael. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, same. It's going to be a great conversation. So for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are today.
Sure. So, I don't know, I talk about this in my book, but I'm one of 11 children. I have seven sisters and three brothers. All from the same parents, grew up, in a like lower middle class family. Um, and I wrote this book last year because I didn't have people around me. So obviously, I don't know about you, but I grew up in a big family. There isn't a lot of time for guidance and support and insight and all those cool conversations that you have as you get older. I'm trying to shape you. So I was always looking for my own resources and always looking for people to give me what I needed and ask questions with to and have conversations with. And this book I wrote because as I in my journey, I decided I was going to go to college, and I did that, and I paid for college on my own. And I got done with college, and I was like, I don't want to be in marketing. I want to be a teacher. And I was like, wait, I don't want to teach in schools. I think I want to teach in business. So like little by little, my journey was, I know I want to help people and teach, but in what way? And I finally found my way in training and development over 20 years experience in that career. And this book that I wrote last year was because I want people to have some of the tools that I didn't have in their high school and early 20s. And as you know, you look back in your journey, like any other person says, oh, I wish I knew this sooner, or I've been using this all along and I didn't even realize that. So I've taken all of those tools I've been using along the way and put them in my book. But also there's some new stuff that I implemented in the last 4 or 5 years, like a mindfulness practice and a gratitude practice. And I wanted to write about them and how they've helped me because no matter where you are in your journey, whether you're exactly in the spot you want to be, or you think you're a year out or a month out, or you hate your job, whatever it is, there's ways to remain peaceful, happy, and content no matter where you are. And that's why I wrote the book. And that's why I have my podcast too.
Yeah. And the first thing that comes to my mind, and this is just me being a contrarian, is, well, how do you do that when the world's always on fire?
Ooh, do you want me to answer that?
I sure do.
I I don't watch the world on fire. I go in and I have conversations with people like you that love what they do and are trying to make the world a better place. I am constantly looking for ways to prove that life is good. And life might be hard, but it still can be good. And we can be grateful for things we have, even if we don't have everything we want. I don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news since 2016 or 17. So when people tell me, did you see this? No, I didn't. Don't tell me about it. Unless it's something that I need to know because I'm going to travel. I can't go to this place or whatever. I don't want to know about it because all of a sudden now this negative stuff's in my head. Then I start to get bummed about it. Then I start to say, well, what can I do about it? And then I start to say, well, life is hard and this sucks. That doesn't get me where I want to go. That doesn't make me more positive. That doesn't make me want to run out and help people. That makes me feel not hopeful. So I'm not denying anything that's happening. I give to charities. I support people that are doing great work out there, but I don't let all that negative stuff seep in every day. I look for the positives and I constantly filling my mind with all of the good ways to make an impact and to support people. While the world's on fire anyways.
Why does that matter to you? Like, 'cause here's why I asked that question, because for myself, I look at the world and same as you, if you ask me what's happening in the world right now, I'd be like, I have no idea. I don't even know what's happening in my neighborhood, right?
Mhm.
And that's because we're so bathed with negativity. But why has it been important for you to move away from that?
Because I am I don't deny that any human being on the planet is probably empathetic. I know there's sociopaths that aren't, and that's few and far between. Most people are empathetic, but I'm very sensitive to other people's energy. I can get down quickly when I see things that are unjust and things that aren't right and things that I can't really necessarily control. And it doesn't get me in the mindset that says, what can I do about it? It gets me in the mindset like, this is a really hard life and this is a hard thing, or these poor people it doesn't help me to come up with solutions, and it doesn't help me to get positive and into that space that says, how can I help this cause or these people or whatever. It brings me down, and I can't ever come up with a solution in that mind space. So I just don't go there. I just say, here's what I'm gonna offer to the world today. I'm gonna be kind to people I meet. I'm gonna treat everyone equally. I'm going to always smile. I'm gonna remain positive. I'm going to do all those things that I can do myself, that I can control, and all the rest of it, I'm not bringing it to my consciousness as much as I can.
Yeah, I think there's a tremendous amount of power in the willingness to let go of the things you can't control.
Yeah.
And I think it's so easy to get caught up in the chaos of the world because it's like right here at your fingertips. You can get as dark as you want to get on the
Yep.
internet. I promise you, right?
Yep.
And you said a word a couple of times that is arguably my favorite word, and that's solutions. And I want to talk about that and go in that because I do believe, and again, it's not to be jaded and it's not to even play devil's advocate. It's just fact. Having coached thousands of people around the world, I know people are stuck in negativity. They're stuck in can't. They're stuck in there's no way this is possible, and they're just flat out like stuck. Talk about the role of solutions and what that really means.
So in my head, solutions is figuring out what's possible to change the scenario. So whether that is you personally or a cause you believe in or something you want to achieve, solutions say there's something that can be resolved in a way. I might not know it right now. But where can I go in my mind or out there with resources that helps me to figure out that there's a solution? I don't know if you're a Marie Forleo follower, but she wrote a book a couple years ago called Everything is Figure Outable. And it's basically like there's a solution to every single problem. It might not be easy. It might be expensive. It might mean you need to change something big in your life. But the bottom line is there is a solution. And if you're only thinking black or white, either or, it's this or it's that, it's almost never just two things. There's usually a third and a fourth and a fifth. But if you go to the negative space and you think about all the ways it could go wrong or how it's not going to work, you're never going to come up with a solution. So instead of thinking, I don't know what the solution is, think what else is possible? What could be possible? And I've just always been someone, even at a young age, I was like, if someone told me I couldn't do something, I would say to myself, not to them, I'm going to go see if it's possible. Like, I'm going to go read a book. I'm going to go ask someone. I'm going to go to the library. I'm going to go ask a teacher, whatever it is. Because just because this one person tells me it's not possible doesn't mean it's not possible. I'm going to go find out for myself what the solution might be. So I've been that way since I was probably, I would say 15, 16 years old. And now I'm over 50 and that's how I run my life. That's how I face the world. That's how I teach my kids to face the world. It's like, if you really believe that something can be solved, it can. And there's a solution. So if you walk over there and ask person A and they don't have it for you, go to person B, go to person C, go to person D and keep going, or go in and figure it out on your own. But there is a solution.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily easy.
Yeah, I mean, when is it ever easy? I don't
Yeah.
remember anything ever being easy.
Right.
And I think that so much of it is you've got to have this willingness to keep going forward. It's so much about this idea, and the way that I look at it through the scope of my life is I've been told no so many freaking times that have to do with anything.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, what do you have to do to actually get to where you want to go? And I fear that all too often people just give up way too soon. And the thing is, I think about this a lot. You look at like the title of your book, Peace, Possibilities, and Perspective. Do you think that people are coming into this with like the wrong perspective of outcome?
Um, I think it's hard to have perspective when you're in the middle of a problem. And it's hard to see that this problem might be one day long, it might be a month long, it might be a year long, but in the big scheme of things, this problem might seem really big, but in the big scheme of things, probably not, unless it's like something like cancer or a death sentence. And I argue that um I argue that that is not necessarily a black and white, a cut and dry. Go to someone else with another opinion, go to a different kind of therapy, there's always something else. But so often, I think what your question was, people don't have the perspective because they get news or they hear something or they have a no and they're like, okay, I guess that's it. So the first time they hear it and even if this person is educated, I'm not saying they're necessarily wrong, but that doesn't mean that's only one person's opinion. Um, what do you believe? What do you want to see happen? You mentioned it, we have a ton of power. And I think when we go in and get one person's perspective, I think the problem with that is it becomes easier to say, well, yeah, I was thinking it wasn't going to be solvable, or I wasn't going to find a solution. And I was just proved right. I'm not going to. And that's easier because even though you might be somewhere where you're uncomfortable and you want to make a change, it's still more comfortable than making that change to see what else is possible. So people give up. I think people give up too soon because it's comfortable. Even though they might say, I don't like my life, I don't like my situation, I don't like my job. Giving up quickly is easier than continuing to be persistent, because that takes a lot of effort. That takes a lot of positivity, and not everyone has that. And people don't know where to find that necessarily.
Yeah, and I think it's easy to get trapped in that too. And what I'm thinking as you're going through this is the word resiliency keeps coming to mind. And talk about that. Where does resiliency play a role in this?
Yeah, so that's why I wrote a chapter about resilience in my book. And I talk about how it can't be, you can't actually I can't give you, Michael, resilience, and you can't give me resilience. You can build resilience. Some people are born with more resilience than others. Some people just have a different outlook. And that goes back to neuroscience and genetics and all kinds of, things, environment, everything that turns us into who we are as human beings. But resilience is the ability to kind of keep getting back up with a no, with one no or 10 no's or 500 no's. The ability to say, you know what, that might still be a no, but I'm not going to quit until I get the yes. Um, Jack Canfield, all those Chicken Soup for the Soul books. I don't know if you know them or read them years ago. And he was told no by 100, and I think it's 137 publishers. And someone asked him one day, well, why didn't you quit at like 112 or 57 or 82? Would know, like, why don't you just stop, and you couldn't get your book published? He said, because I didn't get the yes I wanted. He kept going and going and going and trying different things to get his book published. And finally, someone on a plane after it happened read his book on the way home and said, yes, we'll publish it. And that was number 138. But if he had stopped anywhere before then, that series, I think it's like the best selling series of all time or something like that. But the whole point is, when someone asks him, why didn't you quit? I didn't have what I wanted yet. I didn't have what I wanted yet. So if you quit, you're never going to get what you want. If you keep going, it might take you longer. You might have to keep hearing no's, like you were saying, a million times, and it doesn't feel good, but doesn't mean you're still not going to get it. You're definitely not going to get it if you quit.
Yeah, for sure you're not. And you mentioned building resiliency. Like, what is that process? How do you do that?
So I say it. I say you build resilience by not being around people that are negative. You keep looking for other solutions. So you're told no for a job. Well, then you're going to go to someone else that might tell you yes. You are told no for a raise or promotion. Then you're going to ask what you can do to have it next time. You keep going to someone else or something else to find your solution or find the thing you want. And you don't basically you're taking no for an answer because that might be the answer, but that's not the answer forever. And building resilience is continuing to go back to the things that you know are true, or that whatever you're really, really fighting for and looking for, and saying, I'm not giving up. I'm going to find another resource that's going to help me. So it's asking more questions, building resilience. It's going to different resources. It's talking to new people that will be able to support you. It's looking for anything and anyone that's going to help you get where you want to go. And I don't mean this in a selfish way, like, what can you do for me? It's just, here's what I'm looking for. Is there anyone that has any guidance or insight for me? It's just hey, I'm wondering if. That's what happened when I published my book. I had it almost fully written, and I needed a publisher, and I needed a book cover, and I didn't even know what I needed because I'd never done it before. But I sent an email to, like, I think 20 people in the business world that I knew would support me, and I supported them. And I just said, you guys, I need these 5 things. Do you guys know anyone that can help me with these? I'm willing to pay for them. I'm willing to do the work. I know what I need, but I can't go to one person for this. I know it's probably 3 or 4 different things. And all these people started replying to me and saying, I can help you with this. Hey, check out this resource. Hey, there's a book on this. Hey, I know this person that does this. And all of a sudden I had all my answers. I didn't have them all here. I didn't know them. I was smart enough to know that I couldn't do that on my own. So I asked people that supported me in my network how I can make it happen. And if all of them came back with 0, I would have asked 20 other people. So the whole point is building resilience. So ask 20 people that can help you. And if you get 20 no's, there's 10 more or 5 more or 2 more or 50 more people you can ask. Don't stop asking, because just because you don't have what you want doesn't mean it's not possible, which is why that's in my title of my book, the possibilities part. That's the most important part. It is possible.
Hey, Unbroken Nation, we'll be right back to the show, but I wanted to let you know that you can grab a copy of my first book, Think Unbroken, Understanding and Overcoming Childhood Trauma, for free. If you go to book.thinkunbroken.com, you can download the PDF ebook version of the book and get everything that I know about the baseline of healing trauma for free, downloaded to your email right now. Just go to book.thinkunbroken.com to download your copy of Think Unbroken, Understanding and Overcoming Childhood Trauma for a PDF for your phone. Again, that is book.thinkunbroken.com.
Yeah. How do you step into possibility? Because I think that people, as they go through this, gets disillusioned, right? You hit no 3 times, 8 times, 30 times over the course of 4 years, right? 5 years even. Like I feel like people get so jaded by that. How do you continue to stay positive and in this place to seek possibility?
So I think one of the ways is I'm going to go back to Marie Broller because I learned this from her a couple years ago. If you have this dream in your heart, and other people have talked about this before, if you have the vision or the dream or the idea, it's because you're supposed to pursue it. It's a very simple concept. I wish I would have learned this when I was in my 20s. If you have the idea, the dream, or the goal in your mind, you are supposed to pursue it. So that right there opens your mind up to possibility. Like, I just had an idea. I guess this means I'm supposed to go ask someone about it or read about it or do whatever I need to do about something about it. And right there, that's your possibility. And if you're wondering what else is possible, kind of goes back to the resilience piece, which is, I'd like to do this, whether it's new job, travel, find a soulmate, whatever you want to do, it's possible. And the reason you know it's possible is because other people are doing it. And if you don't see anyone else doing it, still doesn't mean it's not possible. It just means no one else has done it yet. So look for examples of possibility. Ask yourself what else could be possible and look for other resources. But also, it just went out of my mind, the possibility. I had a good point. Almost anything that you can think of in your mind is possible. I know people will say like, okay, well, I want to be like Michael Jordan, but I'm 50 years old and I want to go in the NBA and I can, and whatever. It's like, no, probably not. That's probably a good example of you not being able to do what you want to do, but that doesn't mean you can't go work for a basketball team. You can't go support a basketball team. You can't go volunteer for someone else that does something with basketball. You could be, you can go to school to learn how to talk about basketball and be a broadcaster. Like, there's all these other avenues. And then ask yourself, like, okay, if I can't have that thing, what do I really want? Like, when I get that thing, what's the feeling I want to have? And if the feeling I want to have is, I love talking about basketball and playing it and being around people. Well, you don't not only need to be a player to do that. There's a lot of other ways to do that and stay involved in basketball. So it's like, when I think of possibilities, it's like, what am I trying to achieve and why am I trying to achieve it? And just because you have the idea and you get a no doesn't mean it can't happen. And your idea might just need to be tweaked a little bit because something else is possible for it. That help?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think about this journey all the time of like, chances are, because there's freaking 8 billion people on planet Earth, that somebody has done the thing that you want to do. And honestly, it's funny because I remember you've mentioned Marie Forleo a couple of times. I connected with her years ago, and then I was in London actually when her last book came out, and I was on the train reading it, and I was just thinking to myself, it's crazy how different your life can be when you choose to show up for it. And I think a lot of that comes from like the execution against these dreams. But I worry that people will hear this and that people can be overly optimistic and overly positive and be very much in this manifestor mode, but not be taking action, right? Where's that parlay between like manifestation and action and actually bringing these things to fruition?
Yeah. So I actually have a chapter about manifesting in my book too. It's the last chapter in my book. Because I believe that you are um you manifest what you desire, And if you can't manifest the thing you desire, it's because you're blocking it in some way that like you think you want it, but you really, it's not happening because there's something you're doing to block it. It's not something someone else is doing. It might look like that, but it's something someone else is doing. But you're right. If you can't just say, I would like a brand new car to come to me, as a gift or whatever. And like, I'm just going to sit back and just think about that all day long. Now, first of all, you can think about it and that will be helpful, how it's going to make you feel and what it looks like and imagine all the details about it. But if you just sit back and take absolutely no action, and you don't start researching the car, you don't start looking at pictures of it, you don't start talking about people about how much you want it and how excited you're going to be when you get it someday. You're not building any momentum. You're not creating all of the good energy that goes through and around that desire to have this new car or whatever. I'm just using that as an example. It could be anything. But the whole point is, if you just sit back and do nothing and only think about it, having it happen to you is a lot less likely than if you do all those other things I just mentioned, which is creating it. So it's been in it. I don't know how much you know about the whole manifestation thing. If you read a lot about it, I do, but there's it's all about creating the feeling inside of you. And when you have that, when you change the vibration and you change the feeling inside of you about having it be yours, that's what ends up drawing it to you quicker. But if you are only thinking about the lack of it, that's when you keep pushing it away. Like, I don't have that car yet. And I talked to you, Michael, about this new car, and I really want this new car, but I don't have it yet. And I'd love it to be a gift. And I don't know anyone who has that kind of money. Well, all of those things I just said to you are not going to bring that car to me sooner. But if I say to you, I really have my eye on this beautiful car. I can't wait to get it someday. I have a feeling I'm going to get like win a prize or something. I don't know. And then we start talking about how excited it could be that I have it. It's not it's positive stuff. It's fun. It changes the way you feel. It makes you excited. And then it makes you want to go do the things that might make it possible. But if you're only talking about all the negative things, manifesting it doesn't happen. That's not how it works.
Yeah. And I've been able to do some unbelievable things in my life through that process. And I use the word visualization more than
Yeah.
manifesting. And putting myself in that scenario and playing it through 8 million times. And then
Yeah.
like it comes to pass and I'm like, I knew that was going to happen. I already saw it coming. But it's not as simple as just thinking about it. You
Right.
do have to like put yourself in that. You have to go through it. You have to create massive action. And honestly, you got to be patient too, because it's probably going to take you a lot longer to get that thing than you even can imagine. And I've got some of the goals that I've had in my life, and it's just been like, man, this took 7 years. It took 7 years.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, well, how bad do you want it? And I believe that most people quit early because they actually don't want it. They think that they want it, right? They think that they want the nice car, the big house, all the clothes, and and then you're like, that's not actually the thing. How do people get clarity about what they actually want in life?
The best way to do that is to ask yourself, like, imagine yourself with the thing you want and how you feel about that. It just really takes uh, being introspective. It takes quiet, calm, and it gets easier when you are meditating. You have some sort of practice that can calm your mind down. But it really is like asking yourself these questions. I don't know if you've ever done this thing called super thinking. It's a cool tool that I found a couple of years ago. I was listening to a podcast, and I forget who came up with the idea, but it's called super thinking, and it's you sitting down and writing all the questions you have about your life, whether it's your business or your marriage, whatever it is, your family, you want to move somewhere, anything it is, like you have a job and you want all these things in your job, or why do you want them? Writing all the questions you have down and then asking yourself what the answers are. So, so often, Michael, we go to other people for all these questions, but we really know. And you know this because you talk to people and you ask a question like, well, I was thinking this. You're like, yeah, you're right. I was thinking that too. That happens all the time because you kind of already knew it. You were just going to look for someone else for affirmation, or maybe you wanted someone to tell you could do it because you really don't want to put the effort in, whatever it is. But this exercise, it's sitting down for an hour. And if you can't do this for an hour initially, do it for a couple of minutes. But I did this a couple summers ago and I just sat down. It's really hard to do because you can't have your phone on, you can't have your laptop open. You just have a piece of paper and a pen and you sit there and you put your timer on for 1 hour. It's really hard to do because like 10 or 15 minutes in, you want to like grab a book or grab your phone or look something up. It's really hard to do. But you just keep writing down all the questions you have about your life and then you answer them, just whatever's coming to your mind. And sometimes you skip over, you don't have anything in your head, and then you go to the next one, and then you go back to the other ones you couldn't answer. I had 6 pages of this when I was done. After an hour, all these questions, and I already knew some of the things I was already thinking about them. And if I did, I wrote them down right away. And if not, I'd skip over and go back to them. And I had these 6 pages did just have questions. Every question had an answer that came from me because I gave myself the time to think about it. So in my head, it's sitting back, whether you're meditating in the morning or you do this exercise I just recommended, you have to go in and say, what do I really want this? What do I really want? Or I say I really want it and I don't have it yet. Why? Why is that? Is it because I don't want to do the work? Is it because I'm actually really more comfortable than I thought and I thought I should want it, but I don't? Um, there's a lot of, I talk about curiosity in my book too, because it's all about asking questions. And I think asking questions is underrated. I think if you can do it in so many areas of your life to get what you want, to get the answers. And if you do it introspectively to yourself, you'd be surprised how knowledgeable you are about what you really want.
Yeah, and I mean, that's part of the reason why I journal every single day, and it's not even necessarily just goals, it's just where I'm at, what do I want, what do I wanna create? Because I think that comes with massive clarity. I'm really curious, the thought came in as you were speaking about this. What did you learn about yourself in that process?
I learned how smart I was. Because every question I had been all of the questions I was wanting answers to, I had been thinking about and ruminating about for months, but sitting down and having that, like you said, the time to have the clarity and just be like going in and asking myself, it number one, it made me realize how smart I am. Number two, it made me realize I don't have to go to other people for the answers. I go to other people to bounce ideas and to get a little bit more clarity sometimes because I'm thinking this, am I crazy, whatever. I already know the answer. I'm not. I just want to find someone who agrees with me, or I just want to find someone who disagrees with me so I can prove my point to them in a different way. I do a lot less of that now, asking other people what they think of the things I want because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're the one who has to live with it. If you ask someone else what you should do and they're like, it would be easier if you did this. Well, that person doesn't have to live with your circumstances in your life, in your apartment, with your whoever you're living with in that apartment. No one else has to live with any of the decisions that you make except for you, but or the people that are in your house or whatever. My point is, you have a lot more power than you realize. You're a lot smarter than you realize. It's great to get input from other people. It's great to read and learn and look at other resources and learn about the world, of course. But when you're trying to figure out what your life's going to be and the life you want to create, you got to go in here. That's the only place that you're going to find the answers.
Yeah, very true, and I found in my own life, I do not ask people's opinions about what I should do. Ever. And that has played such an important role because I think unfortunately so often, especially when we're in our formative years and we're in our 20s and our 30s, like we're always reaching for people. Hey, should I do this? Hey, should I do that? What do you think? I believe one of the most dangerous questions you could ask someone is, what do you think about this?
Hmm.
And that's because you now have added variables that actually don't matter. Like, your opinions, as much as I love and value all the people in my life, their opinion doesn't actually hold a lot of weight because the reality is I'm the one who has to act against the idea that I have.
Yep.
And I think so people get to this place where they're like, I'm going to ask everyone's opinion about this thing I should do. And then you get so convoluted that the answers become so convoluted and so overwhelming that now you sit here, you have a spreadsheet, you have pros and cons, you have all this stuff. And I'm like, just go do the thing. You're
Yeah.
not gonna know the outcome. Like, weighing the pros to and cons is so chaotic because you're never gonna discover the outcome
Yeah.
if you're always sitting in action, which unfortunately is a form of action.
Yeah.
Uh, Julie, my friend, this conversation's been incredible. Before I ask you my last question, can you tell everyone where they can find you?
Yeah. So, the podcast, the book, the work I do is all on, the website is possibilityandbeyond.com. And yeah, they can check out my podcast there. It's on app. My podcast is also the Peace and Possibilities podcast, and they can access that on Apple or Spotify or anywhere you can listen to podcasts.
Brilliant. And of course, we'll put those links in the show notes for the Unbroken Nation. My last question for you, my friend, what does it mean to you to be unbroken?
Um, it's a really good question. So I would say to me, unbroken means I'm complete. I have everything I need to figure out the life I want to have. I just need to trust that I have it, and I just need to take action so that I can feel. The more you do that for yourself, and the more you can rely on yourself and believe in yourself, the more unbroken you feel, the more whole you feel.
Brilliantly said. I love that idea about trust. That's everything. Thank you so much for being here. Unbroken Nation, thank you so much for listening. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, tell a friend. And until next time, my friends, be unbroken. I'll see you.
Thank you so much for listening to Think Unbroken. Please share this episode with someone who could use it and help us move forward in our mission of ending generational trauma in our lifetime. And if you would, please take 5 seconds to pop on iTunes or Spotify, hit that 5-star, leave a review, and you can also reach out to us on social at Michael Unbroken or at Think Unbroken. And of course, you can check out our YouTube channel at Think Unbroken. Thank you for being a part of Unbroken Nation, my friends, and until next time, be unbroken. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show, but I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of live coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program.